said that you wanted.
I have a Joshua Short thing in my head too because they were singing that in Chicago. I just did the Moroccan, so I got that one.
When I find it's 42. I don't know where we had this. Where's Michael?
We'll start in the chat. Oh, I don't even know. Who's our
Matt?
We like you being in the
That's close enough. Really. It's a good experience.
$142.
That's okay. Okay, let's see.
That is.
Oh. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Amlachim, Ad Kadosh Baruch Hu. We're on page 142. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Amlachim, Ad Kadosh Baruch Hu. Lai, 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 those that are coming in, we invite you to open your Sidurim on page 142 and to transition for the conversation that you are having with the person sitting next to you into the conversation that we are trying to create all of us together. Can you hear me? We don't want to be in the way between you and your conversation, but it's time to really switch. Shabbat is, by definition, an invitation to switch. We go about our lives, we just stick to what we are doing. And Shabbat is the opportunity to shift gears, to look at what we want to do, how we want to do things, and to enter a different dimension, a palace on time, a dimension of life in which we acknowledge things that sometimes we take for granted in our routines. Shabbat is an opportunity to speak a different language, to focus on the language of our hearts, of our souls, and to speak in community. I invite you to enter the Shabbat and to open your prayer books, your Sidurim, on page 142. And to, whether you know the words that we are saying or not, whether you're familiar with the melodies or not, to do everything you can to be a part of the conversation that we are trying to create in community. We're on page 142 in the middle. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. יאי די 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 צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. Shabbat Shalom. We'll commence our Shabbat service, this Shabbat of Parashat Hayei Sarah. Very special Shabbat for us, for many, many reasons, among other reasons, because tomorrow morning, where are you? Here you are. Sabian will be coming up to the Torah in honor of a makom, a Torah, the Shabbat, in honor of God, in honor of our Torah, in honor of this Shabbat, and in honor of our community. And we are very, very excited to celebrate Shabbat together and to have one of the children of our community coming up to the Torah. We are also excited to celebrate Shabbat Hayei Sarah, because we learn about the stories that mark the beginning of our people, and to some extent remind us where we come from, and maybe those memories help us figure out where we are going. We're excited because we are welcoming our beloved Rabbi Danny, who's coming to visit in honor of the Bar Mitzvah, but we take it personal. We like it. And so with all these lights, the lights of our beginnings as B'nai Mitzvah, the lights of our offsprings as a people, and the loving relationships that we have in our lives, we will turn our studio into page 120 in order to light Shabbat candles. We will invite the Poles to light Shabbos candles.
Asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel shalom.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom.
I want to point out that on this Shabbat evening, in the middle of our service, we're going to invite those who are in 2nd to 4th grade to join Mora Jojo, one of our teachers who's here tonight to help you learn some blessings, to help you get some challah, to have a snack and learn a little bit and reinforce some of the learning around Shabbat we hope to be doing here. And we'll give you a cue in the middle of the service when it's a moment to step out.
We're on page 130 as we welcome Shabbat on our feet and with joy. Lechu neranena. Betoda bismirot narialo shiru ladonai shir hadash shiru ladonai kol haaretz shiru ladonai baruchu shemo basru miyom leyom yeshuato sapru bagohim kevodo bechol ha'amim nifleotav yalai 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 Yay, lie, lie, lie. Yay, lie, lie, lie. Yay, lie, 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 lie. Yay, lie, 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 lie. Yay, lie, lie, lie. Yay, lie, lie, lie. Yay, lie, 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 lie. Yay, lie, 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 lie.
Adonai malach tagel haaretz, yismechu im rabim. המלך של חסידה. שמחו צדיקים באדוני והודו לזכר קודשו. A light is shown for the tzaddikim, for the righteous. Radiance, splendor for the upright. And O you righteous, rejoice in God and acclaim the holy name.
We're on page
134.
Sambru l'Adonai bechinor v'kol simra b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar ariu lifnei hamelech Adonai Hiram hayam lo Tevet v'yoshveiva Ne'arot imcha uchaf yachad arim miraneinu Yishvot haaretz Yishvot tevel v'tzeh Me'amim ve'yisharim Hiram hayamum lo tevel ve'yosheva Ne'arot imcha uchaf yachad arim yiraneinu Yachad arim yiraneinu אדוני מלך, עשו עמים, קוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו, קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. We are turning our Sidurim to page 136 for Psalm 29, מזמור לדוד.
מזמור לדוד, עבור אדוני בנעלים. מזמור לדוד, עבור אדוני כבוד ועוז. עבור אדוני כבוד ועוז. עבור אדוני כבוד שמו. עבור אדוני כבוד ועוז. עבור אדוני כבוד שמו. יאי די די יאי די 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 יאי די ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אדוני עוש לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. יאי די די יאי די 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 יאי די אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אדוני עוש לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
So we turn our Sidurim to page 138. We we take a moment to think of Shabbat as a bride, as a queen, as a majestic presence, as a presence that has the power to change the way in which we perceive things, as a presence to which we give the power to change the way in which we perceive things. It's with that spirit that we go likrat kala, we move with our hearts to welcome the Shabbat bride. We're on page 138. Dejado de
לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמעון וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לפניך, כי מזהור
הפרח
מראש מקדם לסוכה,
סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה.
לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
מקדש מלך, עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבת במקבחה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארת עמי. על יד בן ישי בית העלמי,
קרבה אל נפשי
גאלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
התעוררי עלייך נגלה.
לך דודי לקראת קהלה,
בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. דודי
לקראת קהלה,
בני שבת נקבלה. בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בני שבת נקבלה.
לא תקודי, תקני, בך יחסו עניי עמי ונבנתה עיר על תילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה היו למשיסה השוסייך ורחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כנסוס חטא הקלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה
בואי ושלום עטרת בנה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה
שבת המלכה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה.
And while we are standing, we have welcome Shabbat. We'll take a moment to acknowledge each other's presence. And by a moment, I mean 1 or 2 minutes. And then you will start hearing the guitar. And that means that we come back. And please help us with us. Say Shabbat Shalom. Make sure that you recognize a face that you don't recognize. And say Good Shabbos. Shalom. 7. I will do after Be'afta. In this case. Our service continues on page 140 with Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. In the middle of page 140. We're on page 44, sorry, for Chetzi Kaddish.
Sorry, one more.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirute ve'amlich mahute.
V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayech kol Beit Yisrael. Bagala uv'izman kariv
Ve'imeru
Amen.
Yehesh me Rabbah mevarach. Le'alam ulal me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yinaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal. Shemei dekudesha. Le'elamin korbita v'shirata.
Tush v'chata v'lemata lamiran ve'ara.
Ve'imeru.
Amen.
Turn our student to page 146 for Baruch. Please rise.
Adonai HaMevorach.
You may be seated.
Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam asher bidvaro mariv aravim, in whose words bring forth, who evenings the evening, skillfully opening the gates, altering time, changing the seasons, and arranging the stars in their heavenly courses, according to plan. Kirtzono. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness. Kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimilcha linu le'olam va'ed. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on this evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. Page 152. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. We are on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אמת, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. אמת באמון הכל, סוד וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל. We'll continue with the silent reading over page 156. Your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all the people of Israel sang to you, lifting their voices with joy. Mi chamocha ba'elim, Adonai, who is like you, O God. We're on page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim, Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh, malchutecha ba'u בניך, בוקע ים, לפני משה ומרים, צלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם בארץ. די, 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 Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Israel. We are at the middle of page. Yes.
If you are in grades 2 through 4, I invite you to join me and Jojo outside while we get some challah and learn some blessings together.
We're on page 160. אשכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, יעבדנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ונראו בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הארץ. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. We now turn our Sidurim to page 164 as we will also turn ourselves, our bodies, our sight toward our eternal capital, Yerushalayim. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד, ופי יגיד תהילתך. We'll continue with תפילת עמידה in silence. We'll invite you to read together in Hebrew at the bottom of page 180, the words of the blessing, the prayer for shalom that we need so much in these days. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל באמרו אמן. At this point of our service, at this moment, we take time to acknowledge those that are dealing with illness in their bodies, in their souls. We think of those carrying grief. We think of those dealing, wrestling addictions. If there is a name that you'd like to share in this Erev Shabbat, we invite you to do that as we go around our prayer circle. Shir, say again. I couldn't hear you, thank you. Thank you.
Scott Van Gundy, Dave Stahl, Batya Peters, Sandra Goldberger, Mira Engel, Victoria Spiller, Berdine Coven, Sandy Corman, David Spodek, Lori Shaken, Debbie Pink, Robin Leiter, Rich Zabridger, Jim Rosenfeld, Naomi Levinson, Ruth Murad, Liz Herman, Joyce Cordy, Emma Raymond, Judy Sutton, Ellen Kashik, Bernice Paris, Ivor Barber, Don Barnett, Alex Chapman, Shelley Goodman Taub, Arlene German, Mary Lou Sasso. Wish to all of them, to all of you, to all of us, רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה, a complete recovery of body and spirit. We ask to experience very soon well-being, and we say, Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. I wanted to do something a little different tonight. And we'll see how it goes. But we find this variety of elements in Chayei Sarah, this week's Parsha. We see the story of Abraham purchasing the land and burying Sarah, of him sending his servant to find Rebekah for Isaac, of the incredible meeting of Rebekah and Isaac, in which is implied that Rebekah has healed a broken part of Isaac. And we see Abraham remarry, a fact that is not often commented on. but it makes me really happy that Abraham manages to find love and happiness after some of the more tragic events of his family. And tradition teaches us, by the way, that the woman Abraham remarries is Hagar, which is a coda to her story I believe we don't discuss enough. And in the midst of this, we see this line, Genesis 24:1. It says, V'Avraham zaken, baba yamim. And Abraham was old, full of days. Now, I'm a fan of this line, so we're going to zoom in on it a bit, both today and in Torah study tomorrow. And some of you may know that Rashi opens his commentary on the entire Jewish canon with the phrase, right? Eina mikra zeh omar ela darsheni, right? This verse says nothing but drash me, or explain me. That's what the verse says to our commentators. But what's bothering us about this verse? What is it about Abraham was old, full of days, that needs to be explained? Because indeed, on this exact verse, by the way, the Midrash, our commentators, they have a field day. They have a grand old time. What's our warrant, our way in? What is it about this? There are no redundancies in Torah. There are no extra words. And Abraham was old, full of days. It's not a mere turn of phrase, right? You think this is a repeated meaning? But to commentators, the Torah is not being poetic, right? Each word has a reason. Why would we say this then? Someone was old, full of days. Enter our Midrash to explain it. Breshit Rabbah, this first century work of contemporary to the Mishnah, right? We have this line, right? Amar Rabbi Acha. His name was literally Rabbi Acha, right? So you have a person for whom is old and yet is not full of days, right? And you have people full of days but who are not old, right? In this rare situation, you had someone who had both. That's all well and good, but what exactly does that mean? Okay, so there are some people who are old and there are some people who are full of days, and occasionally we manage to hit both, like in the case of Abraham. 2,000 years later, the rabbi of the Warsaw Ghetto, who died, I think in Treblinka actually later, stepped up to explain, right? And he said, if it is your wish, if it's your wish to connect to the divine, to raise yourself to higher consciousness in this world, let me give you the basics. Don't stand at your 70th birthday the same person you were at your bar or bat mitzvah. Rather, he says, do this. And he gets quite specific here. Right? It's a spiritual practice, and he's going to make it very clear. Imagine for yourself, if your name is, and an example is Ruvain, but we could pick any name, Sabian, for example. Imagine if a bar mitzvah. Imagine what kind of Ruvain you will be next year. What will your achievements be? What will this imaginary Ruvain's engagement and qualities be? This person you imagine will be a way to measure yourself, always checking how far you are from reaching. Are your daily prayers, is your self-development, is your growth at a pace that allows you to become that Ruvain next year, he asked? And if the next year arrives, and if you measure yourself, and you have not even reached even a quarter of that Ruvain's level, he says, let it be in your eyes as if you have, God forbid, not achieved a long life. Because only that last year's Ruvain is alive, and not this year's one. And he said, how do we know this? He said, this is the meaning of the verse, V'Avraham zaken, baba yamim, and Abraham was old, full of days. From this we know that today's Abraham was there, and not yesterday's. There's something amazing to me about the way rabbis in our tradition have managed to, in what seems like an insignificant verse, I kid, of course, there are no insignificant verses, they find an incredible truth about life. You should want to take inspiration from your ancestor Abraham, of course. You want to be righteous, you want to do good things. But they say also, you really want to take inspiration from Abraham, you got to pack each day full of life and pack a whole life full of days. Because there's nothing new under the sun, I couldn't I couldn't help but be reminded, as I read this, of the famous speech of Sir William Osler, who's a famous practical joker. He's also the founder of modern medicine. I wish to point out, he says in his essay, A Way of Life, a path in which the wayfaring person, though perhaps a fool, cannot err. Not a system to be worked out painfully, only to be discarded, not some formal scheme, simply a habit as easy or as hard to adopt as any other habit, good or bad. This way of life I preach is a habit to be acquired gradually by long and steady repetition. It is the practice of living for the day only and for the day's work, to put your entire life in day-tight compartments. That's it. That's the whole drash, and I'm sharing this with you because, not because I figured this out, by the way, but because I read it and it calls to me. I read it and I feel like I need to work on it quite badly myself. In this line, in this parsha this week, our tradition teaches us, zoom in on a line, on a day, to live life in these day-tight compartments, to be present in the moments that we find ourselves in, that we might reach old age and realize we've lived a life full of days. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We will invite the children that we have in the sanctuary to join us in opening the ark for Aleinu Leshabeach. Join Rabbi Michael to open the ark for Aleinu Leshabeach. There's candy after Aleinu Leshabeach. And all the rest to please rise and turn your Sidurim to page 586. Children under the age of, help me.
Children under the age of bar bat mitzvah. I know there's a lot of you. And there's candy involved. Come.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם בגורלנו ככל ההמונה. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. In the middle of page 590, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר בראיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו You may be seated.
It's our custom to first invite those of you who are here for to remember a loved one who has passed away. That's what I was saying. Oh, no, that's what I was going to say. Okay. It's our custom to read the list of those who have yortzeit, those who died in this season in years past. Carol Lowen Brown, Cheryl Kuhn, Dave Urban, Edna Stone, Edward Merkel, Elizabeth Levenfeld, Hugo Iskovitz, Jay Weil, Julia Kaluyan, Ruben Sperber, Robert Delmont, Steve Keene, Terry Vidor Weinman, Jim Eppinger. If you are in the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. If If you are in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. If you are in the cycle of the first year of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. If you have a yahrzeit this week, an anniversary of someone's passing, please rise and share with us who you are remembering.
Sara Kurzban.
The congregation offers our condolences to Lee Coven on the death of his brother, to Berdine Coven on the death of her brother-in-law, and Andrew Coven on the death of his uncle, Brand Katowski.
You can support our fellows while standing or sitting. Join us with your voices or your hearts for Mourner Kaddish on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דברה חירותה, וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי וכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמעיה, חיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the memories of our beloved ones be always a blessing in our lives. Yesichram Baruch. You may be seated. It is my pleasure now to invite the president of our congregation, Jody Muirhead, to announce things. To announce announcements.
Okay, I have things to announce. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's nice to have you all here tonight. Mazel Tov to Sabian and his family. It is so nice to see you here, and we look forward to celebrating with you tomorrow. I'm just going to highlight a few announcements, but you can, of course, find all the events on our website calendar. So tomorrow, November 23rd, we start at 9 a.m. with our Shabbat Cafe right here, 9:30 a.m. Torah study, and then the 10:30 a.m. Bar Mitzvah of Sabian Paul. Sunday, November 24th at 10:30 a.m., there is the book group over Zoom, reading The Land of Hope and Fear by Isabel Kirshner. And at 2 p.m., Meals for the Unhoused, Social Justice Service Project at the Roosevelt Community Center in San Jose. Registration is required, and the minimum age to volunteer is 14. On Thursday, November 28th, and Friday, November 29th, next weekend.
We might have 2 spots available for volunteer, and these are the last 2 spots, and so if someone is interested.
I thought it was full. Oh, there's 2 spots.
We might have 2 spots available.
Okay.
If someone is interested, please to let me know in the next 12 hours, and they might still be available.
Okay. And I think, isn't this one the Alliance?
It is the
It's the Abrahamic Alliance group that's doing this. So we are partnering with our Muslim neighbors and our Christian neighbors to feed the unhoused. Let Rabbi Nico know if you're interested in helping out. Thursday, November 28th and Friday, November 29th, the office and preschool will be closed for Thanksgiving. But, of course, we are open on the weekend, so you can still join us for Sweater Weather Shabbat at 5:30 on Friday and services on Saturday. And then coming up, Saturday, December 7th, we're going to have a really exciting morning of services. So starting at 9, we'll have our Shabbat Cafe. At 9:30, our Torah study. And then at 10:30, we will have our usual Shabbat service alongside a special youth Shabbat for kindergarten through 6th grade families with our new musician in residence, Lior Ben-Hur. So that's very exciting that we're going to have him back this year. And then for our little ones, our tots, they'll have a Tot Shabbat story time at 11:30 a.m. So look for all of that activity. And then after services, everyone is invited to the Shabbat table lunch around 12:15. Please RSVP for that online. And then, this is the most exciting, I know you've all been waiting for this one, on Sunday, December 8th at 10:15 a.m. is our congregational town hall meeting. So come join me and some other very important people in person and via Zoom to hear all about what's going on at Shir Hadash, and some really exciting goings on it is. So please, you can register online if you want to watch online. You're always welcome to come. We'll have some bite to eat in the morning. So please join us at 10:15. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We'll now turn our series to page 122 for Kiddush Shel Yom HaShabbat. We'd like to invite the post to join us for Kiddush and to hold our Kiddush cup. Michael, when are you going to and we'll have a microphone for them?
Yeah, take
Perfect.
head higher.
וירא בבוקר יום השישי, ויחול השמיים בארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל ברא. אשר שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי וחברותיי ובעבודי קדוש נאו.
לחיים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, אותנו קידשת, עם כל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. And as we have introduced Shabbat with blessings, we will share blessings with each other. We invite you to stand next to your chosen family, next to your family, next to your friends. If your children are here, to invite them to stand next to you, to make an eye. And if your family is not here next to you, or your chosen family is not here next to you, make sure that you stand next to someone. That nobody stands alone, that nobody stays alone in Shabbat as we share with each other the millennial blessings of our traditions, the blessings that we have been carrying for the length of our journey. As we ask in Shabbat to recognize the beauty of our creations, of the beauty that we bring into this world. We say to our children, may God inspire you to be like the loving parents of the house of Israel, like Ephraim and Menashe, like Sarah, Rivka, Rachel ולאה. שמכם אלוהים כאפרים וכמנשה, כשרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה. And we say to all of them, to all of you, יברככם אדוני וישמרכם. May God bless you and protect you. יראה אדוני פניו אליכם ויחונכם. May God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you. יישא אדוני פניו אליכם. May you find within you God's presence always. And may God bless you with the ability to live every single one of your days, to fill them with meaning, and to try in each one of them your best, to live them at the fullest, and to recognize that maybe if today wasn't a great day, tomorrow you might be able to make it better, and to work and to choose to work for a good life, for a life of goodness, and for a life of shalom. ישים לכם שלום. May God instill within you peace. אדוני עוז לעמיו ייתן. May God give its peoples the strength to embrace, to be builders, to be makers of the blessing of shalom. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. שבת שלום, שבת שלום ומבורך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. בתוך ביניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Good Shabbos, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Right back there. I gave her a hug.
Shachar to continue playing. So, Shabbat Shalom.